Welcome to the week that was. It's the week that was. How are you? My week was crazy. A lot of good stuff going on this week. A lot of times it's kind of like whining and crying. But we'll get to the thing in the world first. I'm not going to get too much of the world stuff. I think that was a bummer last week. You're being told what's going on in the world. Here's the one thing I will talk about, thing that happened in the world this week. People pulling down statues because they don't like what they stand for. First of all, when have you ever given a fuck about a statue? I'm sorry, but you don't. You don't at all. You don't know about statues. Most of us, if you had to say what statues are in your town, you don't fucking know. You don't know. You might know where a statue is, but if I said, what is the statue of? And they're like, I don't know. I know in my town, when I walk down the street by the Ansonia Town Hall, there's a statue of Martin Luther King's head, and they play easy listening music outside of the town hall while Martin Luther King's head is there. I don't understand why, and I'm not saying like it's not smooth jazz or R&B or something that maybe Martin Luther King would enjoy. No, it's like Bon Jovi when he thought he was country, and he's like, he's singing that home song, like, that kind of shit. That's the only statue I know of. There's not a lot of statues I know of. There's not a lot of statues that you know of. But when it's time to get all pissed off, we all get mad at statues. Listen, tearing down a statue isn't going to change the shit that the people on the statue did. You know what you would, instead of tearing shit down, how about you build another statue? Why don't you choose your new heroes? Why don't you get Tranny Magoo or whatever famous people that you think now should be the people, have a statue next to it? And people that will start more discussions. Statues maybe start discussions. Because know who looks at statues? People on field trips. And by people, I mean children. Teachers walk them through and say, look at this statue. This guy made a cotton gin. They're like, why? Like, so slaves could have it, could not work anymore, I guess, kind of, sort of, I think. I don't know, because cotton gins worked out when they said, oh, more slaves? We're not doing this shit. Something like that. I don't know. I couldn't be a tour guide, but I do know tearing down things leads to tearing down more things. Disrespect is never going to get you respect. I'm sorry, it's not going to. Protesting peacefully or even not peacefully, protesting with a passion and a fire, yeah, that can work when you're saying the right words. When you're just yelling, fuck you, I don't like your shit. And like, well, what don't you like exactly? I don't fucking like cops. Like, okay, how do you think we should change this? Let's have a discussion. Like, fuck you. Well, that's not a discussion. But if you can have a protest and you have a reason and you have demands, have real demands, when they say to you, okay, what are the demands? And Cuomo was like, what's the demands, everybody? And they go, I don't know, defund them. That sounds good, right? Like D means less, correct? Re means like retarded. We don't want a refund. We want like a defund. No, just go away. Get a plan, then come out. Don't just start yelling. You know what I mean? Don't just come out, swing and think, then fight. You're gonna win. You're gonna get tired quick if you do it the other way. Pulling down a statue is dumb. Destroying things is dumb because you don't want cops. You're trying to say you don't need cops, and you're doing shit that cops need to stop. That's why we got them, to stop crazy shit. Tearing down statues will not solve anything. It won't stop the past. You can rip down Abe Lincoln all you want. He still existed. He won't go away. And how dare you take away the history that we have here? Good, bad, or indifferent, as a country, America, it was known as the greatest country in the world. It is now in the state it's in now. All the good, bad, and different came from the good and bad and indifferent that made us. The things that made us falter, that people made us hate us, and people made us love us and be jealous and want to move here to us and move away from us and fight with us. All these things made us who we are. Struggle, fight, disagreements, overcoming, all those things made us. Those statues, they're not all going to be glorious. They're not. The people that make shit happen are usually assholes. That's how it works. Well, I don't like that. My boss sucks. Well, your boss sucks because they're a boss and they knew what to do to not be a fucking lower person. They know how to step on heads a little bit, move their way up. Even though they're a good guy, they still know what to do to get moving on. So you go higher up, presidents, leaders, all these things, they know what the fuck to do. They know how to fucking be tough. So you're not going to like them all the time. They're not going to have a great history. They're going to be assholes. Assholes succeed. Show me the best athlete in the world, and I'll show you an asshole's been really mean to a lot of ladies. That's just what they fucking do. I'm not saying it's right. They shouldn't have ever been that way. But it's a kind of personality that got them to where they are. So they got a fucking statue for it. If you tear the statue down, it doesn't stop all the shit they did. It actually brings more into it. All of a sudden, the statue comes down, and someone goes for the first time, why are they tearing that statue down? Well, that statue is because of this. Well, that happened? Oh, I didn't know that happened. Oh, and I'm mad now too, so I'm going to break more shit. Instead of the regular, why don't you just go visit the statue? If you're upset about that thing, bring your kids there and go, see this person here? This was an awful person. The kids are going to go, why, mommy and daddy? Why was this an awful person? Well, probably just mommy. I'm guessing daddy's out of the picture. They're going to bring them the statue and say, why, mommy and daddy? Why? Why is this a bad person? And then you teach them a lesson. And you teach them the truth, though. These things happen. This is not just he was fucked up because dead slaves. Isn't that what? Okay. But also, what else happened? What led to that time? Why was life different then? Why is life better in your mind now? How have we changed? How have we learned? But ripping shit down, burning books didn't work back in the fucking day. Tearing down statues ain't going to work either. It's stupid. You want to fucking elevate new heroes? Build them some fucking statues. Because then we can have two places to have a drug deal behind at the park, right? If you want a blowjob behind the park, where's the Rosa Parks fucking monument? That's where people are going. I don't know if there's a Rosa Parks monument. It's probably just a bus. But anyway, that's my take on the real shit in the world that's going on. I'm not going to get into everything. Anything where someone's getting shot and killed in cops, I'm not smart enough to do it, and it's just going to come off stupid. But I don't know. I guess the only thing I'll say is this. If you get arrested, just get arrested. Don't fight the cops. Don't argue with the cops. Arguing is for the lawyer part. I don't know if a lot of you have seen the show Law and Order, but that's the order part. So the law part will help you. The order part is when they order you into the cop car and you say, yes, sir. I haven't had to deal with the cops a lot in my life, but when I have had to, they have been on my side, not because I'm a white male, because I handled myself properly, and I called them when I needed help, and they were there for me. There are more good than bad people in that job. There just is. But there's shitheads in all jobs. Like I said on my POS podcast I recorded this week, which you should go check out on YouTube and on Patreon there. It's at the end of the day, there's more good ones than bad ones, but we need those people there for us. We need them to be trained differently. Yes. Fuck the defund, more fund. Put in more money. Train in a way to teach these people that are there already. There's a lot good in there. A lot of them could probably do it themselves. You take the ones that you know. I'm not saying everything we talk. That's not going to happen. There are crazy people. There are situations where force needs to be done sometimes. But when you feel like everyone fucking hates you, you come out fucking swinging instead of thinking and talking. So for the last 20, 30 fucking years, all we've said is the cops are terrible. When I was a kid, what would people say? When you grow up, you want to be a police officer, right? Yeah, that's a good, just thing to do. And now nobody wants to be a fucking cop. It's evil. So who takes the job? Not the smart people, not the ones who use logic and reason, the crazy nuts who didn't make the football team. Now they're ready to fucking crack some skulls. That's who's going. We need people with degrees. We need people who are smart. We need people that can fucking outsmart the fucking criminals. The criminals are doing better because they got better educations than the fucking cops now sometimes. And at the end of the day, if they're always angry, it's just, if a cop fucking thinks you're doing something wrong, don't automatically think you're right. Don't be a 15-year-old kid who knows better than their parent. You don't fucking know. You think you know because you kind of live. You got like 4 pubes. Calm down. You don't got it. You don't know what you're doing. Listen to the authority. You're getting way less trouble if you listen to and go with them than when you fucking start rumbling and bad shit can happen and you could die. You could die. And I don't think you want to be dead. I've never met anyone dead because they've been dead. So I can't tell you if it's a good time, but I would guess not a good time. That's all I'm going to say about all that shit. But in the lighter side, in the Pat Oates news of the world, I was a media darling this week. I was on 3 podcasts that weren't mine. Are you fucking kidding me? That's fucking crazy, right? I was on a podcast with 2 buddies of mine, 2 Connecticut comics, Ish and Pete. and they do a new podcast called Did I Like This? It's a music podcast where the guest, myself, I would choose an album from my youth, if you will, growing up, and then they would choose 2 albums in the same kind of genre, and then we would discuss it and talk about why we think that album is the best album of the 3. And was that a fun concept? Yeah, it's different. I chose Pearl Jam's 10. My brother Jake, that was one of the first albums I remember him playing a lot, and it was funny. Ish picked Alice in Chains' Dirt, another album my brother played a lot, and then Pete picked Audio Slave, which was not from that time, but wanted Chris Cornell, but didn't want Soundgarden. So whatever. The podcast was fun. It's going to be on Spotify in a week or 2. So if you can find it's a brand new podcast. So you can find it out and give it a follow on Spotify. That'd be cool. Or at least check out my episode when I share it places. But more importantly, we didn't record it like this. Everything I've been doing since the quarantine, I've been talking to people through my computer. And I've gotten used to that. When we set this up, I was like, all right, man, I have to do a podcast at 2 o'clock on Saturday. I can do anything after 5. And then Pete goes, cool, I'll pick you up at 5:30. And I was like, what? Pick me up? What? We're going to be, it's like, yeah, we're going to go to Ishi's. We're all going to do it. And that was awesome. I was around people again. Not only those two other comics, Cliff and Alex were there. And we all just got to fucking shoot shit with people that think like I fucking think. Shit on people. Talk shit about some comics again. That was fun. Talk shit about anything. Just laugh, joke. I could say fucked up shit and not be worried about someone sitting in the room going, that's not right. Like my day job. You know what I mean? Like this was like, dudes were like, yeah, that's how we think. We all just laugh and joke. It felt good. It was good for my soul. Running's been helping, but that was just, ooh, we're back, baby. We're not all the way back, but we're kind of back, you know? So that was a good time. It felt good for me to do that kind of shit, to be around people again. And no one rocking masks, no one being whatever. Everybody was cool. Just chilling, podcasting, laughing, having fun, talking shit with some funny dudes. And it was good just to be around comics again. Like I said, I was recording a podcast before that one, and that one was a big one for me. That podcast is called Who Are These Podcasts? And if you've followed me for a while, you know that name because that podcast I have a history with. And this was almost like a redemption, if you will. Carl from Who Are These Podcasts hit me up and said, hey, would you want to be on the show? And help me break down what they do on that podcast is they get submitted by other people or find it themselves, but usually submitted from other people, awful podcasts, awful, terrible podcasts, and then they break it down. I mean, they break it the fuck down. And they did it to me a while back. I had met Carl. We were both guests on the Kumia show on Compound. And a couple days later, Carl hit me up and said, I know this is weird. I know we just met, but someone had submitted to me your podcast. And they fucking tore me a new one. They broke down how I was doing the Pat Oates podcast at that time, which was different. For a while, I had Brandon as a co-host and someone to bounce things off. And for a while, I was trying to do it on my own. And it wasn't the rest. It was me rambling. Now, I'm talking to you now, and I'm able to do this. And you're like, well, you seem to be better. I have notes now. I was really just trying to riff and go, and that was not right. I was doing a lot wrong, but didn't really realize it. And it was a fucking tough love, kicking the ass thing. But I took it in a stride because I had listened to his podcast before, and I had laughed at him breaking down other people. So how dare I not laugh when it's me, or at least understand that's what he does. This is what I do. The things I do, that's how I create. That's how Carl creates. It's a ballsy thing to do because people want to fucking kill you. But I embraced it. And he had messaged me after saying, wow, I've never seen really embrace it this way. And I don't know if that's the reason why I came on, but I did make a lot of changes. The podcast changed. You see guests every week now. It's not just me talking. And except for this week it was, but for the actual podcast itself, I made a lot of changes. And I'm very proud of how that's grown. Now, a lot of it was my own ideas and work and stuff like that, but that kick in the ass from them really fucking helped. And now I got to be a guest on that show and shit on someone else's podcast. And man, was that fun to be on that side, on that team. And we did it through Zoom. Or no, I'm sorry, through Discord. So I didn't get to see him, but we talked. And it was a double-edged sword kind of thing because we broke down this one podcast called Wild Pitch, and it was these guys trying to do like a Shark Tank / improv dorky kind of like Cards Against Humanity, picking a topic. It was fucking god awful. He had a laugh track in the background, crickets. It was brutal, but it's made for a very funny podcast. If you want to check it out, it's all anywhere you listen to podcasts, who are these podcasts? Check it out. And the second part of it, and I didn't know this when he asked me to, about a day or I want to say it was 2 days before. It was either Thursday or Friday. It was probably 2 days before. Carl hit me up and said, "Hey, man, I know you're on the podcast, and let me know how you feel about this. But normally on the podcast, we cover two things. I have the guests come on first, like myself, pick one, and then another two guests come in, and then we all kind of chime in on another one a little bit." And they had suggested this podcast, and it was called Scumtown. And on that podcast, there is an episode making fun of you. And I know exactly what it's about. It's something I haven't really talked about at all. Didn't even want to deal with. I don't like to give attention to people that are just fake saying my name for the sake of saying my name. You're not really going to get a lot. If you get my name, good luck to you. But in the world of Connecticut comedy, it's a little bit polarizing. So therefore, I was like, sure, man, I'll be on whatever. And it was fine because the guys that were saying it were saying they were shitting on that podcast. And I handled it great. I didn't really shit on the person. I just kind of gave facts, whatever. So it was weird and a little uncomfortable, but also very fun. I had a blast. The podcast has been received well. I had a good time. From that, I've already got another podcast from the other show that was on there, the Shitty Song Podcast. They're going to have me on to make fun of fucking songs from the 80s and stuff. So it was good networking. And then Carl said he's going to have me back on again. So I enjoyed that. I'm learning how to be a guest and a host. That's the thing. I've been a guest and a host, but I usually just both the same way. I just take the fuck over. But there I was able to sit back, be fun who I need to be, but sit back and let the host do his thing. I'm learning from that. The more of these things I do, exposure is great, but also just learning this craft is good. And I had a lot of fun on that show as well. And then just Sunday, I got hit up and said in the morning, by Chrissy Mayer, and she said, "Are you available tonight at 9 o'clock to record her show, The Wet Spot, on Compound Media?" And I'm like, "That'd be awesome." I had no plans for Sunday. I'm like, "That'd be great." And I recorded that one, and that actually just went on demand. Today's Monday. On Monday today, so it's on demand now if you're on Compound Media. And that was fun. Chrissy's great. It's a show that's got comics and people from the porn industry, and sometimes just sex experts and stuff, and they all talk and chat, whatever. So it was me, the host, Christy Mayer, her announcer, Mike Figs, who's also a comedian, and Randy James. For you people that want to go run to your, Pornhub and look her up, the name is crazy spelled. It's like RAHYANDEE. It's Randy, but it's Randy. It's all right. There was the four of us on there. It was fun. There's people that do know me. I'm not really sexual, if you will. It's not really my thing. I don't really joke about those kind of things. It's not really the stuff I like to talk about. But I got to talk about how much I hate feet. Mike Feeks likes feet. We got to talk shit about another comic. I got to learn a lot. The porn star, Randy, was very knowledgeable about a lot of things in the porn industry, and it was very similar to the way that I'm in the comedy world. Like, it really saw the same thing in the part where there are people out there who are there to help you, but there are people out there to take advantage of you. And if you don't understand that, if you don't get past the part of it being a hobby or fun, I'm guessing fucking is fun, comedy is fun. But if you don't understand it needs to be a business and be a business person and learn how to say no to things, or at least ask the right questions so you don't get, fucked over, if you will, but in real, same thing. I learned how much it was very similar in that. Now she's a business person that took over and does her own thing now and controls what she does. It makes good money and understands the business aspect, protects herself, helps other young people, ask the right questions, and really gets it. And it was cool to see the insight from another industry, see someone else battling the same kind of things. I enjoy that. Listening to someone going through what I go through, but in a different industry, but knowing that there's a lot of people struggling just to get their name out there in the thing they love. And it was a really fun episode. Please go check that out on Compound. It's a good one. Wet Spot. It's the latest episode. So if you're a subscriber, if you're not, subscribe, because I'm telling you, sometime down the road, you're going to see this beautiful face on there. I'm telling you. I haven't been told that, but I'm telling you. Speaking of beautiful face, my dad told me to trim this. A couple people told me to trim this. I think I'm going to trim it probably 1st of July. I don't know. It's just been quarantine fun. I'm enjoying it, but whatever. It is what it is. It's not like I'm not going to look that much better when it's cut. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden I'm going to be a pretty princess, It's not going to be that. Speaking of shows, I got booked on a live show, everybody. I got booked on a live show. Yeah, comedy live. June 25th, next Thursday. in Waterford, Connecticut. If you want any details, just message me or whatever. Let me know if you're in Connecticut, whatever. At Lenny's, it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. I got booked by Ryan Brouth, who I actually had on my podcast this week. For your Patreon people, you've seen it. But for everyone else in the non-Patreon world, that'll be dropping on Friday, that episode there. I got that chat with Ryan, and I got to chat with Howie Mason, two friends of mine from Connecticut Comedy. Those are two fun interviews. Howie's just dropped today on YouTube, and the podcast itself will drop tomorrow, Tuesday, everywhere. But on Patreon, it's already there. And speaking of the live show thing, that really got me thinking. It's like, well, how am I going to start do this? Am I going to go back to the old material? I'm going to have to go back to some of the old material. I don't have all new, but I'm working on new things. But am I going to talk about all the shit that everyone's going to talk about, like COVID and all that? Am I going to get into my real opinions on things and be that bored? No. I'm just going to write. I've decided I'm going to write in a style of my perspective and how it's changed from before and after, but doing a lot of silliness and dumb shit and stuff like that. And I'm working on a lot of things that I'm excited about. And I'll probably record, you know what? Maybe I'll record a little quick video or some audio and I'll record at least the audio, I think, and put it on Patreon. I think I'll do that. I'll put on the Patreon. That way you can hear the audio at the beginning of the shit I'm trying to work on. Why not? Why not? You can listen to me fail and go, oh, another thing you're terrible at. Fantastic. Wonderful. Great. Besides that, and also booked this week on Friday, I will be on Chaz and AJ on PLR again. So decided to be on there in the morning. Just going to be on 8:30, probably just for like one segment. They do a loser of the week. And now because of like COVID, they also try to do a winner of the week. So I don't know if I want to pick any winners, but I'll pick a loser. But we'll have fun. But it's always great to be on Chaz and AJ. And it'll be fun to, I get to finally, for the first time in a while, be on a radio show and promote a comedy show. Hanging with comics. I'm promoting shows. I'm a guest on all kinds of shows. It's starting to get good again, baby. It is. It's starting. It feels like the first time, but not really. It just feels like old times. I don't know. That song didn't work. Running a lot, feeling really good. I've lost some weight, been feeling great. Ran over 30 miles last week. Most of it was because I wanted to. Some of it was because, mental demons, got to run them out. But I'm finding that way to deal with shit. But overall, very happy with everything that's gone on this week in my life. Getting a lot of things getting better and stronger, and really, focusing on things. I think that everything I'm working on, I'm learning how to get better at it all the time. I'm learning a lot. And that's the key. Podcasting, the shows, the videos, the editing, all these things, just learning more and more. And more importantly, just getting that confidence in myself that I needed, that I lost a little bit with a lot of fucking personal shit going on. So, had a good week. I thank you all for watching this. Thank you for all that support the Patreon. If you aren't, get on over there. Go to Patreon, look up Pat Oates Podcast, or just go patreon.com/Pat Oates Podcast and join today. You get a lot of tons of content. Like, you get to check out the POS show. The ones on YouTube, too. I had Kevin Dombrowski and Gino Bisconti and Frank's on there. And it's great and it's fun. And I'm going to keep doing those shows. I'm going to keep doing the POS, even if it's not going to be on Compound, to stay ready. Because if they do give me the call, I want to know I can go in the format and boom, go right away. I'll probably do them every other week for a little bit until I really get the flow going in the writing. But with everything else going on, once a week might be a little tough to book 2 guests plus Frank plus whatever. But I'm enjoying it. And we get to just talk and do the format that I love doing. Bringing up stories and saying, who's the POS? It was a fun one. We got serious. Gino likes to go tinfoil hat. We did that. We also got real silly with a bunch of crazy things like this Pop Rhino float that I think is super gay. And I don't mean that like, using the word wrong. I think it is a super gay float. And a bunch of other stuff. Something I covered with Bobby Tamburo, the Neo Google thing. If you checked out that episode, that's on there. A lot of fun stuff's on that episode. And I want to keep pushing that and doing that, making myself better and making myself body better, running and feeling good, my brain better, just by clearing it away from the crazy people. Just enjoying life more. So thank you all for watching the week that was, and I'll see you next week to tell you how that week was.